GDAE, the birds, gang. Know that, man. GDAE, the birds, gang. Them too. Fuck a free band gang. I'm spanking one of they too.
Yo, face. Show your face, please, with sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, it's one thing to slide on your ops, but it's another thing to slide on them and you end up losing your life trying to prove a point. It's another thing where you go into someone else's territory with bad intentions, trying to take a life, and the only person that ends up losing theirs is you and potentially the person you came with. But that's the story here, where we have a man who called himself sliding for his friend, only to not only get unalive, but was shot in the head in the process, along with the person he brought with him. Now, I'm not no sliding genius, but I could tell you that there's a way to do everything. And when you're doing whatever it is you're doing, one of the main things you should have is situational awareness. If not, the results is going to be like this every time. Now, the worst part about it all is that the person who returned fire to take the life of the suspect was a CCL holder, aka someone who was licensed to carry a firearm, which basically means that they're not going to be penalized for shooting and taking a life because they were able to carry and they would return in fire as it seemed like their life was put into harm's way. Now, this shooting took place in the suburbs of Chicago, but the thing about certain suburbs is that not all suburbs are considered the same. Some people consider areas suburbs just because they have more houses than buildings, but that don't necessarily mean anything. It can go down anywhere, and the biggest misconception is thinking that it can't just because someone lives in the suburban area. However, we're going to get into a crazy turn of events where one man was unalived and trolled by his ops, and less than 24 hours later, his friends went to go seek revenge for his unaliving, but they both would get shot in the head, with one of them losing their lives in the process, in what police are labeling a mass shooting after 7 people were hit at a party, including a 4-year-old boy. For the suspect that's fighting for his life, either way he has it, it's not going to be a good look for him whether he passes away or live, unfortunately. Because if he lived, they're going to throw the book at him for not only being a part of a mass shooting in the suburbs, but then striking a child in the process. And they're saying at least one person out of the 7 that was at the house party actually lost his life. So it's a lot, but let's get into the story. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. A set known as Freebandz gang, consisting of Mickey Cobras and Black Disciples, located in the Harvey, Illinois area, running from 159th to 155th in Marshville. Most of the Freebandz members rep 157 and Paulina, also known as Watt Block, which they label the Red Zone. Like mentioned before, some may notice it as a suburban area. That's mainly because of the residential setting, but just because there's houses in the area doesn't mean that it can't go down just like everywhere else. However, most Chicago natives who are from Chicago look at these areas as less than because they are considered the suburb. Not to get it confused with future label FBG, but Freebandz gang have their own sentimental reason as to why they call themselves FBG, and it has nothing to do with the rapper. They lost one of their members who went by the name Freebandz in 2018. Since then, they've went by the name Freebandz gang, as most Chicago sets do, naming themselves after a fallen member when one of them passed away. The day Freebandz lost his life, so did another member by the name of WAP, while they were shot and unalived in the store after an altercation where allegedly 3 of them seen their op try bullying him in the store. They didn't know that his friend was waiting outside. By the time they took something from the guy in the store, his friend who was waiting outside watching the whole thing take place began shooting at them as they tried to exit, striking whopping freebandz as they both was unalive. Scene. Eerie enough, not too long after that, their ops would go back to that same store and make a mockery out of what happened as they trolled and took pictures mocking the way the two would lose their lives. Since then, been beef ever since, but things turned up recently when freebandz would take another loss and really hit home for them as well. A freebandz member by the name of Blitz was shot and unalived in broad daylight on August 1st, 2025. Some say it was gang related on social media, while others say that it had nothing to do with gangs and it was a personal dispute over something else. However it goes, a picture of his lifeless body was posted on social media, leaving his situation an open lane for ops to do what they do best when the op pass away, which is to troll. One of those ops happened to be Chicago rapper Bloodhound Q50. Q50 would make a post on his story mocking Blitz passing, as he posted a picture of himself with the caption FBG4L, along with laughing emojis, the eagle emoji, and dove emoji. He also reposted an old video of Lil Jeff threatening freebandz members. Check this out.
GDAE, the birds, gang. Know that, man. GDAE, the birds, gang. Them too. Fuck a freebandz, gang. I'm spanking one of they too. Don't let me catch no freebandz goofy. I'm putting in their place all 2024. I just better get with the memo or get your ass killed. Know that.
Bloodhound Vert will also make a story saying, quote, "The joke's on you, you diss, now you get wrapped down." After news hit that Blitz passed away, FBG affiliate known as BD make a series of posts in regards to the shooting, as he would say, quote, "I'm hurt, baby bro, on Rico. I can't do ish but slide. I ain't going in the crib until I put 3 down or more. 100 emoji, mad emoji, eagle emoji." He also posted another story where he would say, quote, "I'ma unalive everybody for you. Watch my work." In another post, he would show the time, letting it be known that he's outside spinning, and also showing that he attended a candle lighting for Blitz as well. Now in another story, he would show himself masked up yet again, and this time he's outside early morning with the timestamp saying 10:29 a.m., and he captioned it saying, quote, "I love you, Blitz, heartbreak emoji. Your big brother hurt." Then in the next story, he would show a firearm along with a heartbreak emoji, and the caption would read, quote, "At redzone Blitz, I love you, baby bro. And keep that firearm in mind, y'all, due to what happened with it shortly after that post." Now what would come next was an unexpected turn of events. He stated that he couldn't go in the house until at least 3 or more was down, and he meant it. But the only problem is, he probably didn't expect that he would be a part of the number of being put down. According to reports on the mass shooting that took place in Harvey, Illinois section of Chicago, it'll say, quote, "Harvey police are investigating a deadly mass shooting at a house party that left 7 people shot, including a child. The shooting happened around 8 p.m. last night, August 2nd, 2025. Harvey police responded to multiple calls of several people shot on 145th and Des Plaines. Upon arrival, they discovered several gunshot victims, including a 4-year-old boy. Multiple surrounding jurisdictions responded to the scene to assist Harvey PD and EMS. Police says the shooting happened just outside a house party where 2 gunmen started shooting. One of the suspects was shot and unalive by a CCL holder. The second suspect was also shot and at the hospital in police custody. The 4-year-old boy is expected to be okay.
Good news out of all of this, if there is any, is that a 4-year-old boy that was shot during last night's house party is expected to recover, with police telling us that he is in stable condition. Meanwhile, investigators believe that a second shooting that left 1 man dead early this morning may be connected. Crime tape and evidence markers are the only signs left of last night's shooting here, which left 6 people, including a 4-year-old child, injured and one of the gunmen dead. The house, located at the corner of 145th and Des Plaines in South Suburban Harvey, lay empty today, but last night it was, according to police, the site of a party interrupted by gunfire. Neighbors describing the scene.
The scene was chaotic, you know, a lot of police, a lot of ambulances, a lot of people laying down in the ground. You know, it was a shame to have to see something like that.
According to investigators, it was shortly after 8 p.m. yesterday. 2 armed defenders opened fire on the gathering, injuring 4 of the guests in addition to the child. But it didn't end there, as a concealed carry holder who was present returned fire, killing one of the 2 men and injuring the second.
It was a sad moment for this community here, and it's just more work needs to be done.
Now, an aftermath video of the crime scene will go viral, showing a deceased man identified as BD and another man who was shown shot in the head, but was expected to survive because he was still moving. Can't show you the video on here due to YouTube and their guidelines, but here's pictures that we had to blur out. Now, it gotta be crazy to know that you went to go on a drill and will lose your life in the process. The last person we seen this happen to, most notably, was Bloodhound Little Jeff. It's unfortunate, but it does happen, and usually in situations like this, people don't have no sympathy for you because at the end of the day, you was going to take somebody else's life. So if it wasn't your life, then it probably would have been someone else's. Now, I don't know who was shooting, but whoever it was definitely must be in the range daily. Being that they say the person was a CCL holder, chances are they do go to the range daily and was probably waiting on a time just like this, just so they could test out their skills. The individual was able to shoot both suspects in the head, unaliving one and putting the other one in critical condition, while they were the ones that were sliding on them. Now, to make matters worse, both of them had on sliding gear, as they were both dressed up in all black, ski masks, and had on surgical gloves at that. Not to mention, GDAE actually had a firearm laying right next to him while he was on the floor as well. So there's no getting around that. Whether he survived or not, he's in a great world of trouble. Now, y'all know the ops was gonna have a field day after this came out, and they did. We don't know what transpired before police got there, but clearly it was enough time to where one of them were able to take the firearm that BD slid with. They would repost a picture of the weapon and caption it saying, quote, "Good looking BD, yes, we got his gun too. Love though." Sheesh. Now, as we shown y'all before, that's the same firearm he had in his story where he's shown it off and also threatened to unalive everybody. But it didn't stop there. Another one of his ops will post a close-up picture of GDAE on the floor after being shot in the head, still fighting for his life, which is crazy. Now, another person was shot and unalive in this situation who went by the name of Teddy De Niro. He was shot as he was inside the house party, and it's not clear if he's affiliated in any way of any gang life or anything. He could have just been a party attendee, because according to Facebook, it seemed like he had nothing to do with nothing. The post that was dedicated to him, one user would say, quote, "Sad and heartbreak emojis. Teddy De Niro, I hate this happened to you. Always full of love and smiles every time I see you. It don't even seem right. God, please give everybody strength. This one definitely hit hard." Another user would say, quote, "Teddy De Niro, I'm so sorry this happened to you, brother. I hate this place or my dead daughter. You ain't deserved that." Now, clearly, he was highly loved and didn't seem like anyone who was a part of the gang life. In fact, it seemed like he was the total opposite, as from context on his Facebook, he was a former college student who also had his own clothing line. Now, it's rumored that the party was actually a balloon release for another fallen member, and in that case, if they randomly shooting into a crowd of people like that, then anyone could have gotten hit. As y'all seen, even a 4-year-old kid wasn't exempt. Now, the news would explain that there was a second shooting in Calumet where a man was found unalive in a minivan, and they're not sure whether it was connected to the freebandz members getting shot or not.
And while police initially believed this to be an isolated incident, saying there was no further threat to the community, they are now investigating a fatal shooting in the early morning hours of today on the 200 block of Calumet as a possible act of retaliation. And as of yet, an identified man found dead inside this minivan. One neighbor, who did not want to show her face, said this.
I woke up and we just heard, it sounded like bullets were hitting the garbage cans. I heard at least about 40, 38, 30, I don't know, a lot around. Ran downstairs and just grabbed everybody away from windows. Just threw them to the floor.
And while the search for the gunman in this morning's fatal shooting continues, a spokesperson for the police department tells us that investigators are actively following leads and that witnesses are cooperating.
However, another freebandz affiliate would take to the IG story with a few interesting posts of their own before the shooting was reported, and they would say, quote, "Y'all want to see a magic trick?" Then, after the shooting was reported, they would say, quote, "Poof, that was the magic trick. Troll this." Crazy. Now let me say this, y'all. Throughout the whole video, if you didn't conclude anything, one thing for sure, two things for certain, is that these guys got no problem self-incriminating themselves. It's sad to say, But even if the first suspect, BD, survived, with all the evidence he put on social media himself, he wasn't going to get away with taking a life if they got away with it. Even the person that took his weapon and uploaded it on IG, there's something called metadata, y'all, where even if you don't include your face or anything, you still could be tracked down through your IP address or just the metadata that's associated with that post. It'll show everything from your current location, the post you put up, the post you put up before that, the whole 9 yards. The crazy part about this is some of these guys really think that this is cool, like this is life, like this is supposed to happen. And I know some of these guys that's in the drill culture that's older, that actually survived it, and now they got to see the better end of life, like going on trips, right? Being able to shop wherever you want to, seeing different women, eating different food, going different places, getting out of that situation and that environment. I know they're happy that they were able to survive. Because if not, they would have ended up either unalived or in jail and not be able to realize that it's more to life, right? Just think about it, right? Shout out to Tay 600. Right now he has his own YouTube platform and he actually has a following to where he's funny and people like him for that, right? A lot of us know the old Take Upon where he was angry and just, you know, the hitter, the shooter and all that. But guess what? If he would have never survived that phase, we would have never knew this side that we know of him now. The funny guy, right? The cool guy, the father, right? The person that's not into the bullcrap because he survived it and learned his lesson and now he just wants to live life. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys will not get to that point. So for y'all out there, be very, very careful. I'm sure someone had a Ring camera on their home, so I'm also sure that somewhere in the near future, we probably will be seeing a whole video of what actually transpired, although we only got the aftermath. Now, aside from all this, y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this, man. Rest in peace to everybody that was affected. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.